Hi, I'd like to welcome you to the training for TRIRIGA Capital Projects. This is the SRE Submittals. TRIRIGA is an application used by the Department of Veteran Affairs, which is a web-based product, so you can access TRIRIGA through any browser. You will be provided with a login account by your field support staff, which would give you your username and your password. You should have been... Today we're looking at the second video for SREs. You should have gone through your getting started. Your submittals will identify how they are routed through the system. They are initiated by the contractor. The SRE will receive them as the manual approver or through the routing that was identified by the SRE through the application. And we'll also identify today how to reroute this to someone within the approval chain. So we'll go ahead and get started. Get into TRIRIGA. First thing you should do in every instance is make sure that you have a fresh session going. You'll have your username and password identified by your FST, field support staff, and today we're using test 27, which is indicative of a senior resident engineer. We'll get logged in. Always first know that your username and password, always identify that you're in the correct project. You should have learned how to do this through the Getting Started video. Today we're going to be going through submittals. Obviously we're going to go through this and identify how to log in, which we just did. Navigate to your approvals, navigate to submittal packages, go through the approval cycle of a submittal package and complete the submittal package. So a submittal had to have been initiated by the contractor before you will even see a submittal. So we'll talk about that submittal process flow. Contractor initiates, the SRE is chosen as the manual approver, SRE reassigns to multiple people and routes through the system through reassigning, and then the SRE has the final review and the contractor is notified. From there, we just basically, as soon as you get your notification via email, you can go into TRIRIGA and go to your action items. Your action items are the first icon at the top of the page. You'll see here by me clicking on notifications, it'll take us to both action items and notifications. You'll also notice that here you don't have a very clear picture of what you're approving. You have a required review, approval, the due date, status, and who it's from. And then the notifications, you'll have to try to identify between the date here and the date down here, which one ties to each other. So from the home portal, what we've done is we've given you My Pending Approvals, which give you the outstanding items that are pending approval. It'll tell you the type of record that it is, the topic, which is the record name, who it's currently assigned to, the created date, project name, and status. So when you get a submittal, you'll get an email, which then prompts you to log into TRIRIGA. In this case, we have a submittal sitting here waiting for us. If we click on the link, it opens up the submittal. And from here, you'll start seeing that this is not the submittal, but if you look in the upper right-hand corner, it's actually an approval, which has an embedded submittal package. And if you take a look here in the linked to, this is the record that you're actually reviewing and making comments against or reassigning. So you click on the linked record, that'll then open up the submittal record. From here, you start going through the submittal and identifying the description, whether it's hot item, needs to be reassigned, who it's submitted by, the construction class, the paragraph, and any of the items that need to be reviewed. So this is really where you're going to be taking a look at the submittal, opening up each of the items. So if you click on the item, it doesn't necessarily open up the submittal task, but it opens up what's called the submittal intermediate. That provides you links to the task itself. So if you click on the link to the task, you'll review the task, you'll start making a decision whether or not you are the one to approve this and finish it, or if you're going to reassign. So for this particular exercise, we're reviewing it. We made a decision that it has to go to the AE. So we save and close. And then we're back to the submittal intermediate. We close that window as well. Remember, TRIRIGA is a Windows operated system, so lots of windows will be showing up. You'll want to pay attention to your browser here. So now we're back to the submittal package. We know that we're not going to do anything with it at this time, so we save and close that. Once we save and close that, it does take us back to our approval, and you'll see here in my windows, I have the approval sitting here as one of my windows remaining open. So I've made the decision as the SRE that this needs to go to the AE and potentially to the SRE. So when you want to send this to other people within the application, you'll have a reassign button. I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second. You'll see here that currently the only reviewer is test user 27, which is me, the SRE. When the SRE sets up their project, they can identify if they want to set up routing initially or if they want to do this manually. So this is the manual process. And what happens is a window opens up for reassignment. The SRE needs to put their comment, please review and attach any necessary documents. Here at the bottom, this gives me a list of everyone who's on the project. So I can expand this to 100, and I can start seeing who my AE is, test 22. I can see who my, where is my RE? My contracting officer, my budget analyst, my engineer. Test user 14 is my RE, my resident engineer. So I've selected these two people, but I'm not done yet. I need to decide who it's going to go to first. So I'm going to say that it's going to go to the AE first, so I have to put a 1 here, and then it's going to go to the RE second. So if I don't put numbers in any of these and they remain 0, it is not going to be routed to that person. So in this case, I went ahead and put 1 and 2 in the reassign info. I hit continue, and the system's going to automatically reroute this to those 2 people. So at this point, it's out of your hands, and I'm going to go ahead and hit home here to refresh. And you'll see here that the submittal package remains as a pending approval, but it's now in the hands of test user 22. So your user account, you'll see this thing as it's going through the routing process, but until it comes back to you, you cannot perform any actions on it. You'll want to wait till it's currently assigned back to your name. So from that, we're going to just go ahead and wait for these other 2 to come back, and we'll get back into the swing of things after the AE and RE have sent it. Once you get that email that the submittal is now back in your court, you'll log into TRIRIGA, and we'll just log in as test 27. What's happened in the meantime is that the AE has gone through, they've put their comments, the RE has gone through and they put their comments, and now it's back in your court. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and let me get this password correct. Once we log in, we'll see that my pending approvals now has the submittal package. It's back in our court. And you'll see the time that it was submitted. Once we open up this approval, there's a few things you have to look at as the final approval. You'll open up the linked record. One of the things when you get into the approval, you'll start noticing the reviewer list. It'll show you the users, yourself being the last one to approve it because you reassigned it, and the other 2 have approved it. So it went to the architectural engineer, it went to the RE, and now it's back in your court. And that's based on the reassignment that you previously did. So once you get into the record, you click on the linked record, it opens up the submittal for you. And you'll have to look for a couple of things. Remember, everybody's working in the submittal task now. And so within the task itself, still under review, and this is your responsibility to change this, because this is what the contractor is going to see no action, rejected, resubmit, so forth. So this is where you'll change the status of the task. But for the time being, you'll have to open up the submittal task. And once you open up the task, you're going to see that you have to click on the links to open up the task so you can see the information about the task itself and the actions that the previous person took. So when we come in here, the RE and the AE had their responsibilities to go into the task and put their notes. Here you'll see the AE comments, and you'll see that they added a comment. Please review the attached document for recommendation. So you can open up their comment, and you can take a look and see what they've attached. Open it up, do your own review. You'll see the document here. Click on it, open it up. The other thing is the RE has also taken a look, and so they put notes in here saying see attachment, which they've gone in and, whoops, clicked on the wrong tab here. They've gone in and they've put it against the notes and documents. So they took the AE's recommendation. They came in here to the notes and documents, and you'll see here now that above and beyond the original document, which is attached by the contractor, whoops, that this was the original by the contractor. This one is now from the architectural engineer. So now it's been attached to the overall submittal task. And now what you can do is take a look at the general information. And since you know you're done with this, what you need to do is come in here and put the completed date. So what we'll do is we'll come down to the bottom once it loads. And now you have your planned, your baseline end, and you have your actual end. So now you can go ahead and take those dates. You can copy the date of the actual start, and you can take the actual end, because this is a calculated field. Whoops, I think I grabbed the wrong one, moved on me. So here on the actual end, you'll select the date by clicking on the calendar icon, select today's date, and that'll grab the time that you're sitting at. Click OK, and that'll say how long it took to complete once everything gets filled out. So now there's calculations going on, 2.94 hours. And you can save and close and put any additional information here. You can put SRE 0208 2018. See attachment approved as noted. Save and close. Once you save and close this record, you're going to be taken back to the intermediate submittal. You just click the X on this one. And in your review items here, now you'll want to change the status. I'm going to put this to 20, see if I can get this any bit better. So now we'll go to the drop down, revise and resubmit, rejected, no action, resubmit, no action, disapproved, approved as noted. So that's going to be the status. We're going to hit save and close. And then from here, you're the final approval as the SRE. You're going to hit the approve button, and what's going to happen is the approval is going to come up, and you're going to have to apply a note. And again, you can put approved as noted, see attachments, just like you did in the previous, or see comments, whichever is better for you to type at the moment. So we'll wait for this window to come up, and I'll just go ahead and put approved as noted, see attachment. From there, we just hit continue. This review comment can be seen by everyone, so you want to be careful what you put in there. Closes the window. Once that's gone, this submittal package is going to disappear from the overall approvals. But I'm going to go ahead and click back on it real quick just so you can kind of see what's happening here. On the approval, the status is approved, and your new note shows up, overrides the old note, and everyone is at the approved status. So now this Once I click on Home, that submittal package is now gone, and there's no additional work that needs to be done. So anything that's sitting out here in your My Pending Approvals means that it's still in routing. Doesn't mean it's specifically belonging to you, but you know that it's still waiting out there, and you can click on it and you can see whose ball and court it's in. So that concludes the submittal. Same thing goes for resubmission. If you get an email, then you'll have to go back in here and click on it and review and make your notes, reassign as necessary. But the progress of this is exactly the same of all the steps we just went through. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to your FST. Thank you for participating in the Submittal SRE component.